tell us what we're going to be talking about today. Broadly, what is the topic?
Today's article and discussion is entirely focused on how ChatGPT can be used in e-commerce. Wherein first we'll be discussing about how product research can also be done on using ChatGPT and how people have been using it.
Okay.
Also, the second example that I've been focusing on a lot is understanding the entire cycle, so that when a person reads through this article, they get an understanding on what are the processes, the start of it, the complete value chain to creating advertisements on different pages as well, like Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok. We've seen certain things that, ChatGPT came into the picture and it was updated till 2021 and how things have been different in its integration with other applications. So this is the entire piece today that we'll be talking about. The first example that I'll be talking about is one of the case studies, which is based out of UK. The company's name is E-Business Boss. So what he started during conversation with the audiences, he'll be taking us through the examples and planning to launch a product on Amazon. He started his process entirely with let's do what are the hobbies which are popular in US, but not many people know about them.
Are you saying that the problem here is that this person wanted to kind of figure out what to sell? Is that
Yes.
I want to start an e-commerce store. I'm not entirely sure what I should be selling. And then this story is about how someone used ChatGPT to figure that out.
Yes.
Got it.
As a layman, when you are entering into this particular subject and a person who's already sold so many items. So he has those kind of knowledge in build, but then he wanted to experiment it with AI as well, that what kind of answers are we getting? Then he already is a very recognized figure on internet. He sells his own courses as well on Amazon, on Shopify. He's made millions of dollars selling products. But then because he wanted to explain and form up a tutorial to his audience, so what he said is, let's consider a situation when a person just wants to enter and is really not sure, as you mentioned, where to start from. So he gives a prompt and we 5 interesting hobbies that are popular in US and not many people know about it. So we got really 5 interesting answers here. One of it is geocaching, the second is HEM radio, the third is disco, fourth is quilting, and fifth is beekeeping. So see, a lot of it is on an emotional side also. He said that first you have to see what interests you. Second thing is you also have to see it from the procurement side of it, that once you're creating a product, you'll be requiring a lot of electronic items. So those procurement guidelines, policies, and etc. increase the timeline. It's not that you will not be able to crack a product after this particular hobby, but then the time period of the entire conversion will be higher. So let's take one exam and same with the case with geocaching as well.
I lost you there. Why? What determines if it will take a really long time? What is the takeaway here that you have to do what?
So, for example, if you're going for geocaching or HAM radio, so these are two things wherein will require a certain kind of electronic integration, will require certain kind of manufacturing products to come in and have a final thing ready. So he said that let's just rule out these two particular.
Got you.
Oh,
Okay.
let's finalize on disc balls, which is an easy to assemble kind of instrument and can go on live, and the results can also start showing up in a quicker period of time.
Got it.
And then for quilting and beekeeping, he said that yes, it's quite interesting, but to me, disc golf is something which interests me also. So there was an emotion factor to which he chose disc golf as one of the hobbies and is going to be moving ahead with that.
So I think that's an interesting point here that he could have potentially made his prompt a lot better, because there's a lot of implicit things that he's saying need to be done that he's not including in the prompt. For example, geocaching and ham radios require legal loopholes, or, there's complications with them that'll take a long time. He could have easily included that in the prompt and said, don't include ideas that have, complicated regulatory terms. And then he could have also said, like, since he picked disc golf because he's personally interested in it, he could have also given the prompt a list of his interests and hobbies so that it can pick ideas. Like, he ultimately made the decision to go with disc golf for 2 reasons there that he didn't include in the prompt. And I think this is a really good example of where people do things that they know how to do, but then they don't explicitly say it in the prompt. If there was somebody else doing this, I think just putting those criteria into the prompt would just make it a better prompt.
And also there's a catch here. The second prompt, he said that give me 5 popular accessories that is needed for disc golf. What he does is he analyzes all of these 5 things. He has understood that, okay, these are the sales patterns. These are the kind of number of pieces which gets sold in this particular accessory if it is a disposed.
Just to be perfectly clear, this other tool that he's using is like a keyword volume research tool. So he can type in bags, disc golf, and then you'll see, okay, how many, like, what's the trend? How much is it? Got it. Okay.
Let's also see that what are the benefits of a disc golf here and why do people generally like it? This is analysis tool. What help were we getting through it was we were also getting the ratings that customers had given. And right from a 1, 2, or 3 ratings, he just copy pasted the entire table of it and was trying to understand that, okay, what are the pitfalls in the current and whatever product numbers he must have gotten. So was trying to analyze those products in a little more detail. The good part using the tool, what he got was that the sales was in a continuous manner. Even through the pandemic, the sales was there. Also during the holidays, there was a jump. There was very few time periods where the peak wasn't shown in the graph, which showcases that, okay, it's a consistent performing product. So we can go about it. So out of these particular 6 things that ChatGPT gave him the answer as physical fitness, outdoor recreation, there's low cost, socialization, skill development, and accessible to all the ages. He particularly emphasized on let's concentrate on the physical fitness part of it. And also said that socialization is one of the important factors that if you're going for an outdoor accessory and through this particular 6 fields, what he was trying to get is how do we decide on what could be the brand colors, brand palette? What he says is to ChatGPT the next prompt, can you suggest me a few names? Subsequent prompt that he's been giving to ChatGPT is, okay, what are the colors that my brand would look good if I go for a disc golf accessory? And if you actually look that the colors which ChatGPT shared here is green, blue, orange, yellow, and brown. And if you particularly put emphasis on the orange color, orange is the color for enthusiasm. It is for the kind of social skills that we're talking about. It also brings enthusiasm is directly related to physical fitness. And this is how everything is getting correlated in this particular prompt series. He has tried and built up a story, and probably this really entices people that, okay, yes, this could be a potential product which can go in the market. The good part is when ChatGPT gave the names of the particular brand that you can concentrate upon here is he actually showcased that trying one-on-one names, which names are available on GoDaddy. So it saves a lot of time that when we are doing a domain research and creating our own website page, we tend to lose a lot of time thinking here and there. Sometimes we're not able to connect the dots also. This is where ChatGPT, people who really do not want to spend a lot, ChatGPT can help those people a lot here, who really want to concentrate on just bringing the product on board and looking for their sales.
So I think like the takeaway here is if you're in e-commerce and kind of go through how you think about developing new products. I feel like a lot of these prompts could be improved because there's a lot of things that he's doing that isn't included in the prompt. So you mentioned something about like harvesting reviews and then kind of understanding what someone liked and what someone didn't. Is that something he did on ChatGPT or is that something he did in the other tools?
So he picked up the ratings from the other tool, copy pasted it here in ChatGPT and got the result.
And he's potentially like copying and pasting a whole bunch of reviews and saying, okay, give me a SWOT analysis on this product. I think that is potentially one of the most useful parts of this workflow. He hasn't included it, which is a bummer. But yeah. I think this is great.
This is just an example. Now we're talking about the second case, which is about Dan Chaudhary. He's a very interesting guy on YouTube. And what he does is he takes these challenges on like 90 days, 100 days challenge on Shopify. Basically he uses dropshipping model, has earned millions of dollars through dropshipping, and he's in his early 20s. And so what Dan is doing here is he's actually given it out in a quite narrative format, as if now what he was planning to do is to bring out 3 videos to showcase finally what results would be. What Dan has done is he is saying that today I will not put any of my knowledge, whatever I have from running an e-commerce business, especially this drop shipping model of it. And starting when I say that he'll be doing everything through AI, he's actually writing the prompts in the simplest, lamest way that any person can write. So his first question was very simple that, okay, can you give me pick the best drop shipping products to sell, right? Okay, we can understand that these prompts can be like made very technical, but then what he's saying is let's just take it in the simplest core of it. Then nobody really knows ChatGPT, and let's start with the zeroth. And now, because he started getting these kind of answers, so he lands up into this conversational move with AI. Okay, can you give me more specific product to these niche? So this really gives us a broader view that, okay, these particular products are getting in demand these days. And now let's drop into a deeper level where we can talk about niche. And yeah, so but he was not getting the right kind of answer. So what he said was, because we all understand that ChatGPT starts giving you a generalized kind of answer. So the model is not trained. This is the kind of answer that ChatGPT gave, that, okay, I cannot tell you what product is the best or something like that. So he understood that, okay, let's just be specific here. He said that, can you just pick one for us? In that case, he was still not getting the right response. He did a little bit of his own analysis, and what he thought was, okay, let's start with the lamp kind of category, which was again closer to his heart. And he said that, okay, I want to start drop shipping for a lamp. And now, can you give me a few examples of it? Interestingly, since he became a little more specific here, because the timing of the product when this entire conversation was happening, this was around 11th of January. And he specifically made the viewers understand this scene. It's almost like a month to Valentine's Day. There is an insight analysis that the AI tool can automatically do. And probably that is the reason why the GPT has started giving examples like Rosy Branch Lamp, Rosewood Lights Lamp, Blossom Tree Lamp. He also explains kind of product is available. He uses this particular tool. He goes to the website where he procures these particular items and says that, okay, yeah, this is a good thing which we can start with, and sees a potential there. So he lands up choosing this particular item, says that now let's start with how to go about it. So he says that, okay, I have to go with this rosewood lamp. Now give me some names for enhance the sales of a particular shop store. So ChatGPT starts giving him the examples. And he says that out of these 10, he tweaks in a prompt, I think, 2 or 3 times. And he really likes one of the examples. So he could have given a prompt directly that, okay, tell me the examples which are available on GoDaddy, as the domain name is already available, because on Shopify, you really require that. So when he is choosing it here, so all these 10 examples and ChatGPT is giving, all of them were available on the domain. So he was trying to make the point that, yes, domain name choosing is a very important exercise, and ChatGPT just made this game very, very easy. Now, what he also said was, let's give a certain prompt to ChatGPT on what could be the logo for when we have chosen Rose Tree Lights as our brand name. And can you create a description for a modern logo brand? Rose Tree Lamb, and the brand is celebrating love and is present for Valentine's Day. So, yes, ChatGPT a very nice descriptive answer to it. Okay, so this could be the logo that would give you the entire information. Okay, let's take this description to this another tool called as Midjourney, which is like an extension to it. He gives the prompt there and starts getting result out of it. But then there's a catch again. See, whenever we are getting options of graphical options in Midjourney, there's certain kind of things that as a shop owner you would want, you would not want. So the good part of it was he got some 4 options here, but then was not able to choose that, okay, I should go. He liked the font of one. So what he did was he exported the files, took it down, and actually brought in a freelancer to design the logo for his company. And he said that the good part of it was for me to write the entire description. If I would have given it in form of lines to a graphic designer, the option and the time period, the iterations could be so many. This was the final Rose Tree logo that he chose, and it just came out in 8 hours. He was also incorporating all these domain name costs and the freelancers cost to the entire portfolio. Now, since the logo is ready or the description is ready, so it started creating Shopify page. He went to Zenfrog. He utilized, taking the pictures from the procurement site and started creating his own page. He took the description actually from the existing website, and he said that, okay, the kind of description now ChatGPT has given me, it's 10 times better than the original description. Also, when I was doing my research, I came to know that people should really take care of one part, product description, and people are enhancing their product description, especially on e-commerce websites and are utilizing ChatGPT. But some people have shared it in comments that we should not be copy pasting the entire descriptions directly to GPT board. We should first take it to Notepad, clear the metadata, and then take it to our Shopify pages. They're not reading the Chat GPT this description directly, but then just a cleaned up file would be a better thing to use.
Yeah, he's
So
saying like come up with a name, describe a logo, then use Midjourney for it, come up with descriptions. Okay, so this is primarily like how to do branding in e-commerce. Did any of it work? Like you said, his
yes.
descriptions were 10x better. What evidence is there that using ChatGPT was actually worth it?
In the last part of the article, what I was focusing here is the pricing of the product, that how he actually landed up here. And he himself has knowledge of running businesses. He says that ChatGPT came up with a markup of say 50 to 100%. He said that I have never utilized this kind of particular percentage in while he was selling the product. Procurement cost and entire thing around with shipping was around $19. With an 100% markup, the price went up to $38. In his next prompt, that okay, what we'll be spending on advertisements. So he also asked the ChatGPT that what would be the potential advertisement platforms where I can advertise this particular product of mine. So the interesting part here is ChatGPT came up with options like Google Ads, Facebook Ads, which is really good because the kind of target audience he was aiming at, who would buy this product. He was very surprised that why TikTok was not included in this discussion and why ChatGPT did not bring it in. So if you look at the analytics table, so he said that, okay, on the advertisements, when he said, so there were so many link clicks that had happened. On day 2, the link clicks were this, but then the sales were 0. So one mistake that Tang did was he did not integrate the payment gateway to his Shopify page. On day 3, he corrected it. He had shown that this was my ad spending, but somehow the website was down the entire time. But when the website went up again, so finally he started getting this kind of result when in one sales happened finally, and so on and so forth. And he was able to mark up that, okay, so many people were coming up on the website, but somehow he was not able to get them converted because his website was down for the first and the second day. But third day onwards, then he was actually trying to get the results and everything was integrated and working smoothly. So after spending say around $225, the first purchase just happened in half an hour's time. He said that those were my potential clients. I really lost them on day 3. There were around 2,885 people who came on to his website. So he said that that is actually a good number. During his sales period also, he said that along with the kind of descriptions probably that ChatGPT has given and the entire thing that has happened, probably that is why so many people are coming up and the sales conversion has stopped. And this is how the story ended as of now.
The only data that there is that he spent $225 to get it up, but he only made one sale for $40. So not the best numerical data, but then he messed up by getting.
Unfortunately, the website was down. He said that there were so many impressions that were created. So that was the good part of it. He said that ChatGPT definitely has a potential, but then it was his own mistake that didn't happen.
And
So
what we're really looking at here is the value of the ad copy, not the e-commerce store or the fact that he picked the right product. I think this is a really good overview of all of the different ways you can write. You can use ChatGPT in getting a store up. I'm not sure if they're the best examples of the best prompts to use, but I think this is a really good overview of the landscape for people that are new to e-commerce that kind of want to the main question here being like, how can I use this in my e-commerce store? So I think this post does a great job of kind of looking at all of the different ways that you could potentially use it in an e-commerce business.